Back once again. So I was redoing the tutorial. Um, last one I did was the second best thing a player can do in any situation, which is a very handy tool overall in any game mode for that matter. And now the next tutorial online I was going to do was about the rules of the game, and in particular the unspoken rules that everybody seems to know, but new guys apparently having more and more trouble getting to know them because there is just not enough media that puts it forward enough. So you often see players making very basic mistakes that can bring the team in a lot of trouble. Which is why the unspoken rules are unspoken rules. They just make the game easier for everyone if everyone is aware of them. It's the same like driving on the road. If everybody's driving on the right, nobody's going to drive on the left, right? Except the English. So unification makes it easier for everyone. Now, I've looked around on the web, and there was most information was pretty old. Not a lot of YouTube videos about it too. Of course, everybody mentions the most known. There's like 3 major unspoken or unwritten rules, and everybody knows, of course, rule 1: do not break out of a lock. So a lock is when you're locked into another player with your front side and his front side, and because you were going forward and throttling, and your cars ended up against each other, and they're just blocks. They're just straight rectangular blocks. So if they just push against each other, they lock in. So because of that, they call it a lock. But of course, if you release your throttle, there's no lock. You know, if you jump away, there's no lock. But it has evolved in the game, and because the game is the movements are so random, and there's so many options in the arena to have pathways. So there's millions of lines possible, with curves or without curves, and then to actually experience something like a lock with 2 cars just flying and driving around in the arena, and then suddenly just bumping into each other and not being able to carry on, is such a unique experience, I'd say, that people just stayed in it. And that's how it became an unspoken rule that most people would just remain in the lock, because it was just so unique and also characteristic to the game, and it kind of grew on from that, because people started to get mad if other people broke out of it and things like that. So the community kind of verified the concept itself. So people that didn't oblige with it, they were like, harassed and shit by the chat, or some people just even scored own goals after their teammate left the lock. Now, of course, if the lock gets broken by an action from people that are playing on the ball, somebody just coincidentally lands on the lock and breaks two cars apart, that would be considered as a natural freeing of the situation. And anything outside of that is considered breaking a lock. So a lock is not only front to front, so car to car. It can also be if you're reversing and you end up against someone and he's pushing forward and you're pushing backward. You can create a lock too, so you're kind of not allowed to forward throttle then once you're in a reverse lock while you're reversing and locking into another guy. The other guy can be reversing too, for that matter. Now that's a totally different lock, and most people will just throttle forward because their backwards movement is not considered as a continuous movement during the game. But still, it's considered as a lock by the majority of the community. Equally to the, or maybe a little bit more, but to the sideways lock, where you have like some offender made an action on the goal and he returns in the corner, and you see the ball go and you want to go up the corner, and you come here, he comes in the back of you, he wants to go down and you want to go up. So when he locks on the left side of you and he wants to go down, you want to go up, so you kind of create a sideways lock where nobody goes where he's going to go. And that is also considered as a lock, like a sideways lock. Now, to be honest, I never stayed in those locks. Mostly I just jump away because of the situation. But I never realized that it was considered as an actual lock. No, I did have a situation where something happened, and I did not do anything back then. I don't even know if it was competitive or casual. But I know that we both went up. We both went on the roof. And then we ended up in a separate race, so it was a natural release of the lock. But now that I know it, I might do it in the next time I experience a sideways lock. But anyway, like breaking a lock is considered sacrilegious against the game policies, which is why they call it Rule 1. Now that said, I have no idea what Rule 2, 3, and 4, and 5 and the rest of them is, unspoken or not. So I kind of made my own order. And secondly, I think the most important one is, also by many other players called out, is the kickoff. In particular, the kickoff if you're positioned with another guy on the same spot with the same distance. Most people say left always goes. And if you look at most matches, percentage wise, most of the time the left one will go, no matter if right or goes or not. So if everyone agrees upon that, it's very handy, because the right side doesn't necessarily need to go up, so the right side can go for corner boost instead of going up for the ball and then defend the goal after kickoff. And the same as if you're positioned with 3 in the goal, or if you do 2s or so. So if you're next to each other here, left always goes. Now if you have a team, or you play with friends, or or you play with people that you regularly play with, or even just randoms, and you use the chat, you can change anything. You can change any rule. So if the right side says, I got it, I'm not gonna go for it. Because the chat overrides the rule. Because if I'm not gonna listen to him, and I'm gonna go up, then we're gonna approach the ball with two people. And then it's 3 versus 1 on the goalie if they break through. So chat overrides any rule. Unless you think this guy is bullshitting and he's not going to pull it off. Like sometimes people say, I'm going to shoot it left. So that's a different chat. The kickoff is mostly just I got it, or you got it, or shoot. If nothing of that happens, you can count on it that the left one always will go. If you're on the left and you don't go, very often you will get a goal. So, rule 2, left always goes on kickoff if both players are the same distance from the ball. Again, if you play custom teams, friends, you can have strategies, whatever you want, doesn't matter. And then the double committing, if left goes and right goes, like I say, you're just driving up to the ball with two. But in a situation where you're both on the diagonals, the 45 degrees, so my teammate is on that side. Now, in this situation, you can use a double commit or a double kickoff if both players do not try to hit the ball on the same location. Because I know if I'm here that 99.9% of the players or the times the left guy is going to go and he's going to try to hit the ball towards the goal. If not, I can correct. So I do not have to go for the hit on the ball here because he's going to do that. What I'm going to have to do is watch what the other team's going to do. Is one guy going to go back? Are they both coming up? And then I can see where I need to block. Do I need to block high? Do I need to block low? Or do I need to block on the right side? So if my teammate, if they come up with one, and my teammate pops it up to the right, and I flip into it on the right, I can just score a goal, because the goal is never going to happen. But that's about double committing. And the left side always goes rule is there, so people don't have to double commit. So as long as you don't know what you're doing as a second guy that goes up, that you have to change your direction, change your approach, have different outcomes ready. If you don't know that, just keep it on the first rule. If you're on the right, just stay put. Go for the corner boost, defend your goal, let the left side do its thing. And a little side note, in Rumble, most often both sides go. In Rumble, everything's possible. In one way, it's a good thing, because you can practice how a double commit kickoff works, which is where I learned how to touch the ball when my teammate touches it first, or when I am on the left, how I have to hit the ball if my teammate is going to hit it. Now, most of the times the other teammate doesn't fucking care what you're going to do. So I always adjust to the other guy. If I'm left or right, it doesn't matter. But that's Rumble. Okay. Then the next rule, rule 3, is actually about double committing. It's don't double commit. Now that's not only kickoff wise, but mostly in offense, and very importantly in offense and defense, especially in defense, because in defense your rotation is important. So one saves, goes back to post, the other one saves, goes back to post, the first one that saved goes back to the save, gets to post. If you keep rotating like that, no one's gonna score. But if two people go up for a ball and they don't get it, or they don't get it well enough, and it ends up in the opponent's on the opponent's bumper or something, get the shot, the goalie is as good as chanceless to save it. So it's very important to have that second guy back up. And if you're playing twos, yeah, of course it's even more important, because if you both go up and something wrong happens, yeah, it's an open goal. In the front, it's less worse when misses happen, as I explained earlier in other tutorials. But double committing can also cause issues, and you have one rebounder less that can block the counter of the opponent. And the higher you go in level, the more certain you can be that your first attempt is going to be saved, because there's 3 guys waiting for you to come at a goal and do something. Now you can be aerialing, flip resetting, or just driving on the floor, or dribbling from the whole field, doesn't matter. Once you get to the goal, there will be someone. So the higher you go in level, the more important it is to keep hitting that ball. Keep rotating. 1 goes, 2 goes, 3 goes, then 1 again, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And you have to keep rotating, keep stealing the boost, keep getting the second best thing, the boost, the small boost, the kills. So as long as you don't double commit, you get 1 extra player to do all that at all times. So very important rule. Now, of course, there's exemptions to any rule. If you know what you're doing and you're in the front and your teammate is going, and you see that the ball is coming, you see that he might have not a good line, you can go up and try to get a higher line. So if his 50 on the opponent is not gonna work out, you can cover the other angle, the other side of where you think the ball is gonna escape from that 50. And then you're double committing, but you're not going for the same spot on the ball or the same action, because your teammate's going for the shot or the pass. You're going for the block on the counter of that. But that's for the higher levels. What you also often see in lower levels, up to platinum, maybe even diamond, is that one guy leaves, takes the ball, and the other guy's just right behind him in the ass, thinking that the first guy's gonna fuck up and then have to scramble the ball. Of course, the fuck-ups do happen sometimes, but not having the trust in your teammate to be able to bring the ball at least over the midline, again, could bring your team in trouble, because you're double committing on an action that's not even there, because your teammate's on the ball. You can do nothing. So it's better if you stay back more, and you can use your boost to get close quick if it's necessary. But if your teammate is blocked off right away, you have a lot more time and space to correct for that or to counter on that. So, and that can be anywhere. That could be in the middle, on the right. It can be on the ceiling, on the walls. So don't chase your teammate unless you really think he's a sucker and he really isn't capable of getting the ball to the other side. Then the next rule I put up is, which I never heard anyone talk about yet, and never found any information on. Uh, if you're playing trees, make sure you keep a triangle at all times. The more you keep a triangle and the bigger the triangle is, the more coverage you get on the whole field. So if my teammates are in front on the goal, I cover this point here. So if they shoot it out and counter on the right, I'll go over here. If they counter on the left, I'll block it over here. If they counter in the middle, I'm right there. Take the shot. Now, bigger is not always better, because if I'm back over here, our triangle is very big, but the point I'm at is very thin. So the line from here to my two teammates in front, one will be here and one will be on the side here. So that forms a very narrow triangle. So if I'm here, your triangle is much wider. So as long as you can predict that you can stop the ball in the middle here, you can cover this point. When you see that your teammates in front don't have enough control and that the opponent is present and can pinch the ball with two cars or with the wall to the other side, then you have to make sure you get some more space, because a pinch can come pretty hard and pretty fast. But those are rare occasions, but again, the higher in level you are, the more it will occur. But if I'm staying here and my two teammates are on the left side, the triangle is totally distorted, and I only have like a very narrow space that is covered by our team here. So this is a good location if your teammates are going up here in the corner and one guys want to go in the middle, and your triangle is still a good size, so it goes diagonally here to the other guy and to your teammate in the corner. Now if I chase my teammate in the corner over here and our third guy is waiting in the middle there, our triangle is way smaller and everything behind me is open field for the opponent to clear the ball in. And that's what you gotta prevent at all times. So the bigger your triangle and the better you manage your triangles, the more you can control the field. And then you can go back to the tutorials of positions, boost management, and those things all relate. All have to do with each other. So it also happens sometimes that one player is up, the other one's chasing him, and I have to defend the side here. So then you create a line, because one guy is going up here, taking the ball up. The other guy is chasing him right behind him, which is useless because he's going to put the ball up, so he has to be there or in the back. So the ball's not going to come here. When the opponent clears it, it's going to go up the wall here, or just cut the corner and go up the wall there. So you're in a lost position here. But anyway, that can happen. So as third guy, you have to realize We don't have a triangle right now. We have a line. So if you move over here, you create a triangle again, because one guy is in the corner going up to the goal, and the other guy is slightly behind him. So if you go over here, you create an even bigger triangle. Now, as soon as the ball goes up, and the guy here is going to anticipate on it, probably cut in here to kick it in, you're going to have to adjust to that, because they're going to open up the triangle, and you're going to have to get back over here to defend. So your first position will leave on the other side of the goal. And then you have a triangle from there to the guy that is there for the attack or the counter or the block, and me over here. And the more the ball moves towards the middle, the more you can move up with it. So avoid lines at all times, and keep your triangles going. If you're with twos, there's no triangles, of course. I call it split fields. So with any twos that you have in a rectangle or in a cube, one is always on one side and the other is always on the other side. So if my teammate is over there and I'm over here, we control as good as the whole width of the field. If my teammate's over there and I chase him right here, all of the rest of the field is open for the opponent. Now, of course, there's times that you can do it. There's always situations that can override the rule, but then you have to have good communication or know the other player, or just be a lot better, and then you're carrying and smoothing. So the more you split up in twos, the more field you will control. And then it's just a line that stretches out. And that line is one of the bases of your triangle if you're with threes. And then the next unspoken rule, which I think is very important, and especially for the lower ranks, very, very functional and very effective. Now, I just call it charge. You can also call it don't wait, never wait. If a guy is coming at a goal, the longer I wait, the less chance I have to save it. And the more time he has to figure out what he's going to do to beat me. The closer he gets, the bigger that this gap is getting, this hole. So if he's on the other side, like you see my vision on their goal now, it's just a little rectangle. But if I go way over here, look at how big this rectangle is now. So the closer you get, the bigger your target is. Which means as a defender, you cannot let that happen. So anytime anyone waits for a guy just to see what he's doing and then tra-la-la-la, then you kind of put yourself in a lost position every time. Of course, exceptions on every rule, and if you think that you get a better block if he comes over here, or you've been in a situation like that and you think, he's going to do that, so I'm going to do that. It's always possible, but basically, just charge the fuck out of every ball. Now, that doesn't mean you have to ball chase. You have to still think about your triangles. I'm just saying, if you see that an opponent is on the ball, try to block him. If he goes up the wall, go for the block on the wall, pinch on the ball. If you do that, he's gonna have to do something to avoid you, which could be speeding up his approach on the ball, which means he's gonna hit it harder, which means he has less control about it, which also means he's not gonna be able to aim it where he was gonna aim. Even if you miss, they will adjust their movement and they will have to reconfigure. And then your teammates can handle it and you can go back. On the goal especially, if a player comes at you on that line, what are you gonna do? Wait until he gets a chance to zigzag and dribble the ball and get it up, flip it over? You're gonna charge as quick as you can and get as close to the ball as quick as you can, so you can use your sniper aiming cross, which I explained in, I think it was the heading. So that's 2 tutorials ago. So your heading cross goes up to, left to, and right to. So left one is just a little bit here. And then you have the longer jump, which goes further. So if you use that sniper cross, so you have the middle of the ball, the left, the right, the up, the down. So the closer you get to the ball, the more chance you create for yourself to block it. Unless you're really at close, because then you don't see the opponent. But you're approaching the ball, you see what the opponent's going to do. Is he going to approach the ball on the right or on the left? Is he going to kick left or right? So if he's going to kick right for you left, then I just do this. If he's going to kick left for me right, I'll just do this. If I see that he stays on the floor, he's not going to flip, he's going to stiff it, I'll just do this. So as a defender, you actually have more advantage over the one that's going to kick or handle the ball. So if he's right behind the ball, you know that he's just going to push it wherever he's driving. And then you can get a block on any side you want. That's also a thing I explained in the kickoff tutorial, how to block every side, how to approach differently. So if I approach here, the other guy thinks, oh, I have to go to the right, because you leave your left open. But if I then do this, he's totally surprised. So if you charge every time and you have your target aim, your blocking options are a lot bigger than his shooting options. Because if I'm on this side and I want to shoot the ball, like if I'm here, if I want to shoot the ball on the goal, I have to do this and hit it right there. Right? If I do this, I'm not going to score. If I do this, I'm not going to score. If I do this, I'm not going to score. So the only option for scoring is that he hits this ball straight in. Now as a defender, I don't have to hit the ball first. I just have to think, where is he going to hit? So I can do this, and again, your sniper cross. So your width of defense is way wider. You see that? That goes anywhere on the field. Wall, ceiling, doesn't matter. If you're in the offense and the guy is trying to get the ball out, And you see he's not pinching it or nothing. He doesn't have an option to clear it in one shot. Just go for the block. Boom. Doesn't even matter. If you block it hard, it will ricochet over the whole thing, and your teammates get a shot at it, rebound at it, can take a pass at it. But if you let him go, and he goes up the wall, and he gets a chance to do whatever he wants. And then if your goalie is waiting too, then bye-bye, and it's good. So what is rule 5, 6, 5? Charge. Charge as quick as you can, anytime. If you have no boost, just flip towards the ball. Try to scare your opponent, make him decide other things. Alright. Then another one that might have been added, should have been added to the kickoff line, and that is when a kickoff happens, guard the goal. So you know left always goes, and who else is left has to defend the goal. So if there's two on each side, left, right, left goes, right probably goes back to boost. So I have to make sure I remain in the midline so I can cover both left and right of the goal. And I give my teammates more chance to get the boost. Now if left goes up, ball gets hit, ball ends up here, I have to go up in the middle. If the ball comes up in the middle, I have to go up. That means that my other teammate that went for boost has to go for goal now. So if the other guy is not aware of the goal and he's going for the mid boost, and I have to go defend on the ball after contact from the kickoff, he's gonna be too late if my 50 or my contact on the ball doesn't work out and they get it over me. So then it's about rotation, and this guy should be back on time to cover for my option, because I'm number 2 then, because the one guy was kickoff, he goes for boost, and then this is number 3. So if the kickoff happens and the ball ends up on the right, he is number 2. Then I'm number 3 in the goal. But there should always be someone covering the goal at kickoffs. And you often see one guy going up, and then 2 guys going for corner boost, left and right. Goal is open. First guy misses the ball in the middle. 2 guys get the boost in the corner, then trying to get back and are not on time to get the ball. Then why did you get the boost in the first place? So theoretically, you started from somewhere here, went over there, came back, got a full package of boost, never be able to use it because they scored. So just stay here. Stay here till you see that the situation is okay. Then you go for corner boost. Now if you're standing on the 45 here, that's different. So if I'm not going up, teammate is going for boost for the kickoff, he's on the left. I go for this boost and then I make sure I can cover the goal, even after a quick pinch on the ceiling and let it ricochets off. So if I'm not able to get quick enough to the boost, so I have my own flip method, I might as well just go straight to goal like this. For a good save, you don't need 100 boosts. You can just do this and you save. So it doesn't matter ones or twos or threes. Just make sure that always someone covers the goal. it's here on midline, or if the ball goes left, if he's here, or even here. You can get a save from here or on the ball the other side, doesn't matter. Just make sure the goal's covered on kickoff so you don't get insta goals. Moving on. Next unspoken rule I think is very important. Especially if you want to be competitive, play competitive, is switch off the chat of the other team. Now, I'm just gonna check one thing here. I played 26,000 matches. And I've never, ever been with a guy or communicated with a player that was not influenced by the other team's chat. Everybody knows that has played a little bit of Rocket League. Everybody knows that the other team chat is just a bunch of crap. It's 9 times out of 10 what a save. Even don't even have to shoot on the goal. They just say it sometimes to just say it. It's ridiculous. And no matter how strong or balanced you think you are, it will always have an effect on you. I've tried thousands of times. In the end, it will eat you up inside out. So just switch it off. It's not worth it. Of course, if you want to do some funny shit and you want to really pay attention to those things, it's good. If you're in casual, doesn't matter. If you're in competitive, don't do it. You will get influenced by it. Then, next unspoken rule, I think, is never forfeit. Never ever forfeit, not even in casual, but especially not in competitive. First and of all, you have to respect the game and even, I think, the sport which it actually is or is becoming. You don't see soccer players 10 minutes before the end of the game with 3-0 behind saying like, we're not gonna make this, ref, call it off, blow the whistle, we want to shower now. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's like 60,000 people watching in the stadium having to go home early, 15 minutes because the team decided to forfeit. It's just ridiculous. It's respectless to the game or the sport, however you see it. And you should be, as a competitive player, you should honor that, in my opinion. In casuals, of course, it's not always self-evident. I've forfeited matches, but I really try to avoid it at all times. Also, because if you forfeit and you don't finish a match, you never know what could have happened. And I've had it happen a lot of times that I was playing a match in casual, and after like 1 or 2 minutes my teammates forfeit that. I don't have to excuse me, I don't have to explain it to people. It happens all the time. I mean, why are you even playing if you want to forfeit every match that you're playing? You're the fucking problem, you know. Deal with your problem. Learn what your problem is. And then avoid it. So you don't have to forfeit other matches. Some people just do it to piss you off. It's just insane sometimes. So if you contribute to it, yeah, you might as well be considered a perpetrator. Yeah? If you don't participate in it, then you're setting an example to other people. What I was going to say is that I have had it happen a lot of times that both teammates, or if you're in twos, that my other teammates try to forfeit. I don't do it. And then suddenly you're creating the most beautiful situation in a team, as a team, with some aerials and flip resets or roof shots or anything that goes beyond your normal play, I'd say. And you make a fantastic goal. You just make a clip of it because it's so beautiful. Now, if you would have forfeited, it would never happen. Now, you think that doesn't matter. But it does matter because if you skip the moment where your brain is going to reach some kind of apex highlight in its evolution to get better in the game, you're gonna take away the experience. So then you need to wait longer for it to happen. So the more you forfeit, the more you extend the time that you will get better. So face your fucking flaws, you know? Face your flaw, stay in the game, try to see what did I do wrong here. Make a recording of the match, look back at it. Why? What's going on? What can I do to get better? Why do I want to forfeit always? And then, almost at the end, with the forfeiting thing, if you're in a match and you're 5-0 behind, I mean, it doesn't even matter if you have only 1 minute or you still have 3 or 4. I mean, people will forfeit. People will forfeit if they're 30 seconds in a game. Doesn't matter. But you can score 5 goals in 20 seconds. I mean, happens. You can come back from 5-0. Happens. I've had it happen multiple times. 6, 7 becomes more difficult. Still possible. So it becomes a belief in your own play. So if you're gonna forfeit with 3 minutes on the clock, well, that's a shame, and you never know what's gonna happen if that match is forfeit. If you would have kept playing, it would have been possible that you kept up, that you tied up, maybe even won the game. And the biggest problem of shit like that is that if you forfeit once, you're gonna do it again. If you do it again, you're gonna do it again and again and again and again and again and again, but bust a rat. So the habit is gonna keep you from getting better. So break the habit. Okay, then that was about what is this? Right, another unspoken rule. I don't know if I have to call it that, but I would say is look for tutorials, look for information, look for players on YouTube put clips up or videos up of tutorials or explanations, or try the tutorials on the game. The basic guy, the epic one itself is as good as useless, but it's a basic. But there's a lot of training packs where also get into talking about the game modes and all that. Doing all the different things, seeing all the different things is gonna give your brain and yourself an overview of what the game is and how deep it goes. And then you can configure yourself in some level of that. Because people get blinded a lot by the levels and I want to be diamond or I want to be champ or this or that, but they don't see what they need to be there. Which is why I do the whole tutorial thing to begin with. Alright, last and not least unspoken rule is watch Modeller's tutorials.